And there I was, in the middle of a computer building process. And I needed memory. And what do you know? That memory is $1 billion nowadays. Like, you literally 5 years ago could buy a stick of DDR4 memory for like $10 on the cheap end. And now even the cheap end products are like $40. And it's like, what? So I check a different website. I don't know. Maybe something's different. Maybe I'm confused. Maybe something's mislabeled. Oh, memory is just on the rise. So if you have any projects going on in life that by any chance requires any form of memory sticks, I'd suggest that you all go out and get yourselves a memory, because essentially AI is screwing us over again. And yeah, so all these big AI companies are buying up all the memory, and now there's actually companies out there that used to make memory for computers that don't anymore. They just now have switched over to making dedicated memory just for AI systems. So like this entire company essentially was bought out by some rich Meta type bullshit, and then they essentially just make memory just for Meta. They don't even make them for the public anymore. So that's always fun. I smoking a cigarette as always. I had an interesting evening tonight. I got to work about, I don't even know, 5 minutes after I got here. Somebody in the parking lot across the street from where I work, while driving in the dark, hit a curb. I have no idea if alcohol or drugs were involved, but they hit a curb, flipped their car, landed on like upside down, and evidently it crushed so bad that the 4 occupants were all trapped inside, and they had to come over and use jaws of life to cut them out of the car. And I mean, this literally happened like right after I got to work. The whole parking lot from across the street from my work was just every single cop, ambulance, fire truck we have in this damn city showed up to see if these people were okay, even though I'm pretty sure they called from the car saying they were okay and that they were just trapped. Obviously, it's still a situation where you want to quickly flip somebody over, and you know it's not safe for, per se, to have some fluids draining in your hot motor, but you know, in general, just saying that it seemed like a very large force of people. And then since they were okay, and all they had to do was flip them over and cut them out, or cut them out and flip it over, whatever they had to do, the wrecker truck showed up like 5 minutes after that, and they loaded the car up and off they went. It's just crazy how like I got to work 5 minutes later, this car's flipped. 5 minutes after that, there's every single person in my town in one place, and then 5 minutes after that, so 15 total minutes later, and the parking lot's empty, and it's all said and done. It's just like, okay. And then next thing I know, some person I know from throughout life, essentially, they found they own a restaurant in my town, and they were leaving their restaurant, and they noticed on the cameras in the back, they noticed that somebody was inside their dumpster. So when they essentially went outside to see what was going on or what they were doing in the dumpster, they found this young lady, and she was dumpster diving for food because she was homeless, which is crazy. I don't want to sound like mean or nothing, but it's just crazy because I have never heard of anything like that happening in my town. And I'm not saying it clearly doesn't happen all over the place, but I live literally in the middle of nowhere. We're not super small anymore, but we used to be really small. So it just seems strange to me. We're not really like a big city or anything. So it kind of makes me confused at how we would have homeless people digging through our dumpsters. Anyways, they obviously couldn't just leave this girl outside because it's fucking cold outside today. It's like 23 degrees outside or some shit. And so they decided to be nice and bring her to the hotel and get her a room. so she could have a nice warm place to stay. Got her some food and some tea. But this girl clearly has some form of, well, I can tell just from the few conversations I've had with her now that she's definitely got some form of mental issues. Probably, honestly, bipolar, schizophrenic, something along those lines. She's definitely out there sometimes, completely normal, and just can flip a script and just be in la la land. Um, you know, partially think drugs could be involved, but I've actually seen her enough that I don't think she's actually doing drugs. So if anything, she would be like coming off of drugs. But she also doesn't really seem to be acting like she's like freaking out that she doesn't have drugs. So it could literally just be a mental thing, and I'm just being typical everybody that goes, oh, they're fucked up on drugs, because that's everybody who acts fucked up is clearly on drugs. Can never just be fucked up mentally. She didn't exactly feel comfortable with where she was, so I made it my effort to spend time with her, talk to her while she was here so she would feel comfortable. And as of like 20 minutes ago, she just went to bed, and it's like 4 in the morning. So hopefully she's done, crashed. I have no idea what her future holds for her. Can only hope for the best. Try to give her some words of encouragement. Not a very religious man, so I'm not one of those people, but I still tried to explain that everybody's got a purpose in life, and she can do good. And I can't really help a ton because I don't have very much myself. But if there was ever anything she needed, help wise, a ride somewhere, or you know, you know, some helpful hand to finding a job around here, something that I do whatever I could to help her because she's young and clearly getting out of some form of not great relationship and stuff. And I'm not really trying to put myself in someone else's business. It's not really my place or something I really want to do. But at the same time, it is hard to literally talk to somebody who, she's like telling me stories and stuff. She's getting literally nothing from me. And that was the best part of why I wanted to talk to her. I'm not giving her money. I'm not giving her cigarettes to smoke. I'm not giving her a place to stay. She's already got this stuff. She's gotten that from everybody else that's given her help today. Instead, I was just simply somebody to sit and talk. And I got her to essentially open up about, feelings. And obviously she doesn't know me. She's not going to get too deep into, conversation. But essentially got her to explain somewhat of where she came from, why she left, what she's wanting from the future, and it's crazy because she's literally at one point explaining to me how she just wants like kids or something, like she wants something to keep her busy because she has to keep herself busy, and if she doesn't keep herself busy, she makes bad decisions and stuff. And it's like, I don't know. It's just like, I'm not the person again to like start shit with somebody, but I so badly at that point wanted to be like, if that's your answer, I feel like children is not the play for you, because you can't just say, oh, I want kids because they'll keep me busy, and then you end up going around fucking around and doing something stupid, and now your kids are left with a mom in jail or homeless or whatever the heck it is because you thought that children were what's going to make things better for you. And it's like she didn't fully explain it, but essentially said it like she was running from someone, and that's another reason why I definitely wouldn't want to get involved. It's like, me and my girlfriend, happy as we are, I don't need to intertwine someone else's relationship drama into bullshit. But it's just the fact that she said that the guy she was with was like dated multiple guys or dated multiple women, and that she was fine with it because they were more like roommates than they were like actual a couple. But she said that he like freaked out on her the other night and went ballistic on her and essentially scared her, I guess, to the point where she decided like enough was enough. I need to clean my life up, which is great. Like I said, it's a great thing. But obviously we all know, whether we really like to admit it or not, we all know that the chances of someone actually cleaning themselves up are actually really slim. You either have to fucking babysit someone else and ensure that they go the path that they need to be going on. Because, like I said, they left this girl here and she just started pacing around the hotel. She was trying to get into rooms she wasn't supposed to be, all this other stuff. You know, if it wasn't for me acting like I wasn't mad, but I essentially was just like, oh, hey, I see you're struggling getting your room. Do you want me to show you where your room's at? And I showed her where her room was. And when she got checked in, she had left all of her stuff in the lobby. So I called up like 30 minutes later and was just like, hey, you know, would you like me to bring your stuff to your room for you? And she, yeah, if you wouldn't mind. So I packed her stuff up on the cart and took it up there for her or whatever. And, you know, I just was ensuring she was okay. And then I saw her wandering the hotel a little bit later, about an hour later. So I went upstairs, caught her in the hallway and kind of like ushered her back to her room, not in a weird, creepy way, just in a, hey, let's get you back in the room there, you know, and then, you know, because again, I mean, she was dropped off. She's posted under somebody else's credit card of the people who dropped her off. And it's like, you know, if she does something stupid, ruins the room or whatever she does, that's going to fall back onto the people who paid for the room. Like I said, I do know them, and I'm not like close to them, but I still know who they are. I went to school with that woman's son, so I know her enough where felt like keep an eye out on this girl. But like I said, I ran up right before I had to run my night audit and just knocked on the door, and she came to the door. Just asked her, is everything still good? You good to go? She's like, yep, I'm actually going to lay down right now and go to bed. I was like, perfect. You know, if you need anything, let me know. And then here we are. So I just gotten down, ran out and smoked a cigarette before now running my night audit because I got to do that. But I never even got to eat dinner because obviously I was dealing with her and didn't really feel like heating up and trying to juggle eating food whilst also dealing with a girl that is homeless and I know doesn't really get to eat a bunch of food. So I wasn't trying to rub nothing in no one's face. And she did have food from the people who brought her here, but still didn't feel right to eat food in front of someone you know who actively doesn't eat very much. So, all right. I'm going to go. So, hopefully you enjoyed this other ramble. I'm just that kind of guy, you know, I'm a rambling kind of guy. Even if I got to ramble to people who are in bad situations, and I can try to push you into a better situation because I am not a model citizen by any means. I am a loser and I don't have very much for my own self, but I am happy. You know, I'm not saying I wouldn't be happier with more, but I'm happy with what I have. And, that's all that really matters in the end, you know. And in reality, if someone's trying to make themselves better, and even if you don't know them and they're not directly asking you for something like money and cigarettes or this, that, and other, just sit down and just have a nice, simple conversation with people. Sometimes all people really need is someone to listen to them. And that's why I appreciate all of you guys. Have a great night.